All right, welcome back, everyone, to another Mix with Vic podcast. Today, you probably already know who my guest is. He is very infamous in the filmmaking world, except you might not actually recognize him because he shaved the beard.
It's facts. Yeah, this is my first public appearance since the beard.
Well, if you don't know, his name is Jakob Owens. He is a filmmaker, director, DP, entrepreneur, husband, all of the above. But yeah. Welcome, Jacob. Thanks for doing this.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. For those who don't know, I just kind of want to open it up for you to talk about, just a little bit like how you got into things and, like what your background is and like what you've been up to.
So I guess, just background, just kind of how I got into what I got in, was growing up, I always just made videos and created things in general. Like I was just always like on top of the video stuff. I was always just like making my own board games and like designing and drawing my own like shoe line and golf course. Like I just made my own magazine. I did like everything like creatively, like, and my mom was like very much like an artist, but always like just encouraged, the creativity and side of things. And so I just grew up kind of just always building, creating things, making things. And I think that's kind of what stemmed into like, yes, my primary, goal was always like video production, filmmaking, but I think it totally like shaped ultimately becoming like a entrepreneur as well. And like just building and creating different things. And so, yeah, like you said, do the filmmaking stuff, but also have, a myriad of other things going on as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's like a very brief backstory.
Yeah. It's funny because I've heard your backstory a few times,
right.
Like just on podcasts and whatnot, but I don't think I've ever heard the golf course thing.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah. I mean, there's, like I said, there's so many little things like that. So there's always probably something that I remember that I didn't remember last time, but I literally have like, there's definitely somewhere in a closet somewhere, like papers of like a par 3 within a par 6, and like I named the course, and like I have like 9 holes drawn out, just sketched out, colored with markers, and like I designed my own. I do golf. Okay. Like I was on the freshman golf team.
Nice.
And I think there was even like like all the tycoon video games. There was like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Mall Tycoon, freaking Ski Resort Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, which is a huge one. Yeah. And I think there was even like a golf course tycoon one. And I think that's what stemmed me drawing my own, is because like I was like building them on the computer. I don't even know. I don't know why I decided to draw a golf course.
That one's wild.
But I did. I literally did. And like shoes. Like I would just draw shoes and design them and color them, and like I have stacks of papers of like shoe designs. Like
that's crazy.
And never wanted to be a shoe designer or wanted to design shoes. I just liked drawing and creating and stuff. So
I can relate to the making card games and whatnot. But hearing that whole list of things, like I'm very passionate about, like the filmmaking stuff, but I feel like one of the things that I struggle with is hobbies.
Yeah.
When I have no work and I'm not working out, pretty much the only other thing that I do is either hang out with friends or play video games. Right. And like the video games gets old quick. And I just feel like you don't have that problem. Like it sounds like you have a million things you're interested in. Yeah,
I mean, definitely. So before when I was growing up, I thought I wanted to be like a cartoon artist because I loved to draw, which is why I was drawing my own golf course, drawing my own shoe line, making my own card games, and drawing all the characters. And like, dude, I have some crazy card games. Like if I pulled them out of the woodwork, like I have this whole SpongeBob universe like card game I made. Damn. This Men in Black alien card game. Like I drew all the aliens, gave them powers, and you would battle. Kind of like stemming from like Pokemon and like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. Growing up, and I have like just a crazy amount of like games that I've like created and drawn and whatnot. But like I wanted to be like a cartoon artist, and even met someone who worked on like feature cartoon, art, like drawing, like did feature work, like drawing, like Titan AE. I don't know if you know what that movie is, but it was like a cartoon movie.
Sounds familiar.
It's kind of like a
cult
classic
movie?
Yeah, it's kind of like a cult classic cartoon, like space animation movie. but yeah, even like I met with that guy and did a session where I drew in like at his studio, and like I don't know, I thought that's what I wanted to do. Like I just liked all that kind of stuff. So ultimately found my way to video as like the kind of final thing.
I'm honestly surprised, like after hearing that you didn't go into like motion design, you know, like stuff like Cinema 4D, because it's like animation meeting. See,
I feel like I don't have the patience.
Yeah, you definitely need that.
And I think that shows in all the different things I do. I do so many different things, and I think that's a testament to like I can't just sit and do one thing and one thing only. Like I have to just do so many different things. And so I ended up obviously like straying away from the drawing stuff. I can still draw pretty well, but I used to, like, if I pulled out drawings out of my closet, like spot on, like SpongeBob, the SpongeBob characters that I drew for that SpongeBob game, like I feel like you would think like the animators drew the people on the cards.
And you do that from memory, or
I would look at something. I would just look at it and draw it.
Gotcha.
I could never like draw anything just from like imagination, but if I looked at whatever it is, like line for line, like it looked.
So could you only do like cartoon stuff, or if like you had a picture of like a human?
I did kind of everything. I painted. I would like paint landscapes. I did like watercolor. I did oil. I did like all types of like I did it all. I kind of did it all growing up. I always did everything.
It seems like like people who are artistic at something, so like you with filmmaking, they seem to like sometimes bleed over into other things, like Eminem, you know, like he's obviously killer at rapping, but I mean he was a great drawer and he was interested in comics and all that stuff, but it seems like there are just the artistic minds out there that just seem to be good at a lot of artistic stuff.
I would agree with that.
So I just wanted to address the audience. The way that you and I, you know, like got linked up is that I was on your first round of the mentorship program.
Were you the very first group?
Yep.
It's crazy.
I was, I think I was the second person who signed up before you knew that you made the link live, because you had talked about it.
No, I remember I was talking to Tom actually about this on the way home, and I can't remember. I think it was the first one. I was telling him I didn't know what it was going to do. I had people kind of asking for that kind of thing, and I made it live and available. And I just remember like all of a sudden like 5 people signed up. 10 people. Like I remember where I was back east doing, like, I was getting ready the next day to talk at this school, this thing I was doing, and like I made it live in my hotel room, and it was like 5 people signed up, 10 people signed up, 15 people signed up, 20 people signed up. I was like, if I don't stop this right now, like this shit's gonna get out of control and I'm gonna dig myself a hole. So I like cut it off real quick, and and I like kept it at like 20 people, and you know, everyone since then I've like lowered the amount of people in it, but that's funny because it I think it took me by surprise, like the people that wanted to like be involved,
realize how influential like your position was and how many people wanted to be a part of it.
I
remember it was like the day before you were like, oh, I was thinking of doing this mentorship program. I was like, that sounds cool. And then I was on the stair stepper the next day, and you said how you thought you didn't post it, but it was on there and someone found it. I was like, I've already been on your website before. Like, I'm going to go back, like check it out, like, see how much it is, see if I can convince my wife to be down with that. And I was like, $800. I was like, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's right. All. You're right. That's the first time that I listed it was 800. Yeah. Then the second time I was like, all right, I gotta charge more, because it ended up being like a lot of work on my end, and I think that's the thing. A lot of people don't even like understand and realize. It's like I've heard from like, whispers from people or through other people like, oh, he charges to have people like, be on, his PAs, and it's like, that's not what it is. But like what you're doing is like I'm taking my personal time and dedicating it towards like helping you or mentoring you or allowing you to like, how many messages I get of people like, oh, I want to come on set, and it's like I do that, I still allow that and let that to happen, but you get exclusive private access, the first one, if you want to do it, like, and there's just, I'm dedicating a lot of my time, and it's like, I mean, you could go to someone's going to hold some speaking event, and you could pay $2,000 to go watch someone speak for 6 hours who's doing like motivational stuff or whatever, and it's like, I'm literally giving you months of my life, you know what I mean, and direct access. So
and I don't know what it looks like now, but I mean, at the time, it was a year-long thing, which is crazy.
And that's I don't know if it was on the second one or the third one. I shortened it to 6 months because I was like, a year is a lot of time. But
well, and that's the thing. I remember messaging you because I had messaged you a couple times before that, I think, like, just on advice on things, and you always were responsive. So I was like, I really want to do this. My wife says it's cool, and I just wanted to know, like, how long it was. And you got back to me right away, and I was like, a year? Fuck yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was maybe 3 months, 6 months. And for someone who had never even been to LA before except for LAX to go to Disneyland,
right.
I was just like, wow, I can have access to like real productions and, you know, just kind of watch and see how it's done. Plus, like, got your phone number to ask you anything, was able to send you anything to get, you know, a review on. And then, you know, the Facebook
and stuff,
group.
Facebook group, all that stuff.
Yeah. And then
I think you even stayed at my house like a couple days.
Yeah, which was crazy too, because it's like I could have been like some serial killer or something. Like, you had no reason to offer that up to me.
My girlfriend at the time, now wife, was just like, wait, one of your mentorees is like coming to stay at our house. And I was just like, oh yeah. Like, so open the doors completely.
Yeah.
So
that, like, and that was so freaking cool. Still, like, if you ever come to Reno or Tahoe, like, hit me up, because I need to get you back for sushi, and it's all you can eat sushi.
I love sushi.
It's so freaking good, man. But yeah, great. that was just such a crazy time. I remember just being ecstatic that I got one of the slots.
Yeah.
I saw that you were posting recently about, you know, you might do it again.
Yeah, I had people asking me if I would do it again. I haven't done it for a while, just because I have so much going on, which would be like a good reason to do it, because it's like, you know, people want to know, like, how do I do all these things, or how, like, and get the inside scoop and be involved on the different businesses or, you know, productions and just in everything that's going on. But at the same time, like, I don't want to feel like I can't give my attention and time to the people that are paying to get my attention and time. And so like, I've been hesitant to like do it again, because I don't want to do it. And then like, people are like, oh, like, this isn't what I thought it was. Like, I thought you were gonna like hold my hand for 6 months on like how to be successful.
Did you get
like,
that?
I got that on the last one, and so that's why I was like a little hesitant to do another one, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna make you successful. I'm here to mentor you. If you have questions, you want to be involved in stuff, like, absolutely. Like, Dan, I think, is a great example. Like, Dan was a mentorship or a mentoree in, I think, the third one. And like, he now works for us. He site reps. He does BTS on sets. He will steady cam jobs. He'll PA. He just does
He
lived with me. Yeah, honeymoon hideout, and would like hold down the fort while I was away. And and like, that's like, that wouldn't have happened without the mentorship group and the people he's met and the people I've introduced him to, and so like,
exactly.
I think he's a good example of, and there's been other people that are doing great things now too because of it. Like, there's a couple, like, I think his name's Albert Acosta, got him a job at this, you know, creative agency in downtown LA.
I was wondering what he was up to. He was in the same group.
They were looking for like a video editor. And I know he had expressed interest to me at some point that he was like, you know, wanting to edit and do stuff. And so I reached out to him. I was like, yo, you do that stuff, right? Would this interest you? And I think he does like full time now. He works for that creative agency. And then there's another guy, Corey, and there's a bunch of people that are doing cool stuff. And then obviously there's some people that like aren't. And it's like, it is what you make of it. Like, I'm not going to like make you successful, but I'm definitely here to add resource and value and information to your life to give you opportunities to do that stuff. And so, but I just felt like I didn't want to jump into another one, and I don't want to let anyone down or make them feel like, cause it's weird. Like, people will use any sort of reason or excuse to to talk about you in a negative light, especially when I'm like trying to do something good. Like I don't have to sit there and like at the end of the day, I don't need your $1,000 to with the amount of things that I do, like I don't need that. Like it's basically just a somewhat of a payment to like allow me to like really like give you access to like my life, my information. I want to share that stuff, but it does take a lot of time and energy from everything that I'm doing to do that. So it's kind of like just like a little like, I don't know if a tip is the right word, but just like I don't have to do that. And that's why I haven't done it over the last years, because like there's just a lot going on, and I just don't want to, again, like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm letting anyone down or like make them feel like I'm like, I don't know, taking advantage of them in any way. And so I just, haven't done it in a minute, but I've been having people ask me about it. So I don't know, might bring it back, might not. We'll see. Yeah. You know,
I mean, you could always either just lower the number, raise the price or something to like narrow it.
Small it down. Yeah. That's what Tom was saying. He was telling me, my business partner, he was like, you should just raise the price, take less people, and just, you know, focus in. So it's like not as much on your shoulders, but you can still like, you know, kind of help the people that really want to help themselves. You know,
and you don't feel like that you're being burdened, because it was definitely worth your time to, you know, give these people that advice.
Shoot, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's fun and cool too. Like Dan was literally for a year our main builder at prismlensfx. He built all the prisms that anyone's ever like bought from us, like in the last, or you know, the like first year and a half that prismlensfx was a thing, Dan built those. You know what I mean? Like, so to like be able to like offer jobs and opportunities to people who were in those mentorship groups, or you know, whatever, it's cool, it's fun, it's dope. And I mean, so I would love to do it again. So we'll see.
I'm a testament to that too. Like, I wouldn't be living in this house had it not been for you, because I wouldn't have known these people. Right. And like, though I'm moving out now, it's just like that opened up a huge door for me. It was the worst timing in the world, but it was cool. You know, like COVID. This experience is just one that like I'll never forget. And like now I know what LA is, and so like when I'm ready, I'll come back. And like now I've got all these connections that would have never happened had I not you know, gotten this place. Right. And so that like it's just all those little connections, the little things that come from the mentorship program on top of what you learn is crazy. Yeah. I think the value is insane. So like if you
I appreciate it.
If you raise the price, I wouldn't even, you know, I'd just be like, it's worth it. Right. You know?
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I was actually going to ask you if you had like noticed, or like what you had seen from your mentorees, like how many people are doing great things, or if you still see like what they're doing, or, you know, how many people.
No, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like there's, if you've been in the mentorship group, like I know who you are. If you text me and DM me or whatever it is, like I'm responding. I got you. Like I know who you are. Like if you want to like again like reach back out and like yo, I want to get back on set. Like bro, welcome anytime. You know what I mean? And so like I'm definitely like see people who are doing awesome things. And I see people who are, you know, haven't really done much, but the door is always, you know, still open and whatnot. So, but yeah, I've seen some people go off and do some cool and fun things. So
Corey's been killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my favorite thing for my brother and I to do, like on a Friday night, is just sit and watch music videos on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
We just get drunk and watch music videos, and half of them are his. You know, with like Guap Dad 4000 and I don't know, YG. He's just out there killing them. Like that man. I think the
him. First, like his story is kind of interesting because he reached out to me about getting on set, and literally like I was shooting a small run and gun video with this director Nayup Ramos, and he came out and helped as like a PA, and then like that same director was having me shoot B camera on a video like 2 days later, and then like I'm like there, and Corey was there, and I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh bro, the director like loved my work ethic on that first shoot, like he brought me back to do DIT. I was like, oh dope.
Nice.
And like just, you know, it just kind of kept snowballing from there, and you know, next thing you know, he's, you know, doing some really cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think though that's a perfect testament. You have to want it and do the things that it takes. Like,
that's what I was gonna ask you next.
Like you can't, like, if he asked him to, one, he just came out to be on that set, was on the set, worked hard, an opportunity presented itself, said yes, you know, worked hard on that video, it opened the doors to other opportunities, and it just like it's a snowball effect from there. But if you just sit back, no, don't do the work, don't work hard, whatever, like you're not just gonna like randomly find success or get popping. Like you have to put in the groundwork too. Like, yeah. And so yeah, no, he had, I think, a good run, and good, like, out of just like, you know, I think starting from shooting with that A7S II, like just local stuff, to boom, like, and you know, I don't know how many years it's been, but yeah. So
I know he's definitely impressed me a lot from what I've been seeing. Something else I wanted to ask you about was YouTube. Because, like, I know you have a huge Buff Nerds channel, and, like, honestly, the reason I am doing what I'm doing is because of your how to make $100,000
video.
Because
it's so funny how much that video, like, I hear that from people.
Yeah, it didn't seem, I couldn't wrap my head around doing something that I love like this and not having a boss and still making a living. Right. And so, you know, and I was always super skeptical of these YouTube videos. And I remember it's like 5 a.m. I'm just sitting on the toilet before work. I'm just hating my life. And because I just keep trying to examine this. I'm like, is there a possibility of me doing this? And, you know, like I suck at what I do right now. I just have the passion and that's it. Right. And, I watched your video, and the way that you broke down how to make $100,000 a year seems so doable. Right. And then I think it led me to watching a couple more of your videos, like how to make that your job, make that your living. And I was just like, wow, like you can actually do this. I mean, people do this.
It's another one, Logan Mice. I don't know if you know Logan. Yeah. Same thing. Like he was a big fan of mine. Came out to a bunch of sets early on when he was living in Kansas. Came out to LA, and one of the things he always told me is like, "Yo, that how to make $100,000 in a year video is like what like opened my eyes like to stuff." And so Logan's doing a bunch of really cool stuff right now too. So yeah, I mean, I think. Sometimes it just takes that eye-opening moment. Like I think for me, like when I was in college, like there was, like it seemed so far out of reach to like, oh, I'm gonna make $100,000 one day, like in a year or whatever. And then like you start to do it, and you start to realize, oh, like it's not that hard if you just have this shoot, like you have, you know, 7 shoots a month that pay this, like, and you do this, like, or you have a little side stream, a little side revenue stream that makes you $1,000 a month. That's 2 less shoots a month I need to do, and I'm still at that number. And all of a sudden, it's just like, oh yeah, like, wow, like $100,000 is not that hard to obtain. Like if you really think about it. And then, you know, obviously each year from there, it's gone up. But like that first, I think, I think it was the first year that I had, like, I don't know if it was the year after or the first year I made like the $100,000, and I realized, wow, that wasn't that difficult. Like, and then that's when I was like, oh, I think I made the video about it. So yeah,
like killer video. Like the you know, that's got to be one of my favorite YouTube videos, and I think I even put that in one of my inspiration video. Nice. Just because, like, I mean, that one, it just, like, I mean, it literally changed my life, which is crazy. But back to the YouTube thing, like, so you have this massive channel. And, you know, I found out about you because of these types of videos, and then you had tutorials and all that on there too. And I know you've expressed, like you're just, you know, just not, I don't know if, frustration, with not getting the type of engagement that you should be with the channel like that.
I don't know. I feel like I'm shadow banned in a way somehow. I know that's like a thing via like different social media channels. And yeah, for a long time, the channel was massive, and we were averaging, like 20 million views a month and all this stuff. And then kind of all of a sudden out of nowhere, just like it was hard to get 5,000 views on a video.
Yeah.
It was just out of nowhere. Like, it was super weird. And then ever since then, like, yeah, it's kind of been the story of the channel. Like, no matter what I put out, like, it's hard to push past like that number. Randomly here and there, some shit will pop off past that, but like, yeah. So and I just have too much going on to, like, I've spent, I don't know how many, since 2012, 8-9 years of my life, making content and building content for that channel, building up that name. Like, to me, there'd be, I don't care if I don't make money or not or whatever, or get the views off of that channel. Like, I wouldn't ever start over and like abandon that thing. And so if I'm shadow banned or people don't like my shit anymore on there or whatever, like, it is what it is. And, I got other things going on. But I think that's a testament to not everything's forever. Not everything lasts forever. And that's how I've always looked at things, and why I feel like I've always diversified as much as possible, and why I have all these different things, because nothing lasts forever. No matter how good it's going, at some point that thing is going to end. So you better have something else going on that you can bank on, or after that one thing stops, okay, I'm going to shift my focus over here to this other thing I have going on and build that up. You know what I mean? So yeah. I've seen and heard countless stories of, that one thing, it's going to stop, or it does stop. And then it's like, okay, now what? So even I remember, dude, there was this, when I was making really good money off YouTube, like really good money. And my mom, I remember I was talking to her about something about YouTube, and I said something about like, yeah, I don't touch any of that YouTube money. Like, I don't spend it. I put it into a savings, because I was just like, I know it's not going to last, and I want to find a way to like invest and use that money in the future for something else. Like, I know, like, I'm not out here like making 15 racks a month to like blow 15 racks a month on like random stuff that's not going to like benefit my future in any way. And so, like, I always save that money, and I bought my first house with that, which turned into like, which turned into the Airbnb, which then turned into me buying another house and turning that into an Airbnb, which turned, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't have been able to do that stuff if I just willy-nilly like spent that money thinking like, yo, I'm about to keep racking it up for years. And so, yeah, just being smart about stuff and looking more long-term. But nothing, whatever you're doing, it's not going to last forever. So you better have like kind of other things going on. There's very, very few and rare cases where like it might, like, you, like, there's obviously like certain artists that, or like people that, like Spielberg, obviously, like he's still but he's Steven Spielberg. He's not, he's a very, very rare case of human being, you know what I mean? So
so that's something that I know that you're a really big proponent of, or you promote it a lot, is just diversifying your income. What, like, how would, if you were talking to someone who's in this industry, like, what would you say to them? Like, where should they look? Because they're not going to go out and start like identical companies to like you, but like, what could they do to do that?
I mean, I think it's just look at what you're interested in, or if you have a good look. I always say this: everyone has $1 million idea in their life. It's just a matter of whether you actually go through with following through and doing it and trying to execute it. Like, everyone has $1 million idea in their life, like, for sure. That I just personally believe that. I feel like I'm a testament of that. I've seen other people or heard other people that have like, I'm like, yo, that shit would pop if they actually like really went in on that thing. Because you think about it all the time. You have these like fleeting great ideas or moments like, oh bro, like that'd be crazy, boom boom boom. But to actually sit and then for like a year, 2-3 years, like go through with trying to execute that idea, that's the hard part. It's like an idea is easy, but I think it's just finding, recognizing when you have that good idea, and then kind of just trying to follow through on that and find stuff that the main thing is whatever you're passionate about, find the thing that like, you know, you're passionate about and can turn into something. Cause like at the end of the day, like all my, I guess like businesses and things I've done have stemmed from something I like to do. It makes it easy to want to wake up and work on it and it makes it easy to make it grow and be successful. But if I I have no knowledge of makeup or interest in makeup, but if I like tried to start a makeup company and make that pop, that would be so hard and it would feel unnatural and it'd be like, I would be climbing an uphill battle every single day.
You'd have good visuals though.
Yeah, it's true. Good IG content and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's just like I wouldn't be excited to make it grow. I wouldn't be like, I wake up every day like ready to get to, like I run to my computer and like straight to work. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think you just have to identify like, what do you enjoy? If you're, you know, I don't know, if you're a cinematographer, you know, find like what's something that issue you keep running to on set that it's just like, if I had something that could fix that problem, make it, you know what I mean? That's it, you know?
Yeah.
So
if someone could figure out how to make Adobe not crash.
There you go.
That's,
there you go.
That's the thing right there.
How does that happen? You know what always blows my mind? It's like I'll be on a FaceTime call or a call and it's just like, like, and they're breaking up. And then I'm like, yet they live streamed or like televised the moon landing back in 1969.
I know. It blows my mind. Well, and that's what I was telling you the other day about how it's 2021 and Squarespace won't let us put a bigger than 300 megabytes size of a file. Like that's nothing. And then there's like, because I have a
memory card that does a terabyte that's this big. Like,
I know it's. I feel like it's inexcusable at this point. Yeah, what was I gonna say about people? The
Squarespace.
Yeah, Squarespace. Oh yeah, there's this there's a wedding site. It's like Wedding Wire. You know, to like promote your wedding videos.
Right.
I can't put like almost any of the videos on there because they have to be a certain file size. Gotcha. And so it's like, how am I supposed to promote myself on your page if I can't?
If it's all compressed and I can't upload anything or whatever.
And, like, just at least let me drop a YouTube link or something. It's so stupid. I don't get it.
Yeah, there's like Wedding Wire, The Knot.
There's like a couple other and I think now they're like paired up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know who bought out who. Probably The Knot bought Wedding Wire, but yeah.
Makes sense.
I wanted to ask you this too. So I know that buying that first house for you was probably huge, you know, turning it into an Airbnb and then eventually selling it. I remember you made a video that you made like, I think $70,000 or something like that on that house.
Yeah.
Do you think that like, I mean, on top of being driven and work ethic and, you know, still working as a filmmaker, do you think that like helped propel you to all these other things? Because honestly, like you make it look super easy now to do this stuff, but like does it just get easier as you go?
I think so. I mean, it gets easier in the terms of anytime you want to start something, you have your own capital or you have more of, you know, a following or people that whatever like will kind of buy into what you're doing, but like you don't have to like rely on other people or their money to like start something. And I mean, just kind of rolled each thing into the next thing, like the first house sale or the first house buy and like making money off the Airbnb, it rolled that into buying the second house and doing that. And like, it just like with each thing, it becomes easier. Cause obviously like saving up that first chunk of money to buy your first house is like hard and it's like a lot of work. And then I think just like each thing kind of becomes easier and easier. But it's not to say that like there's always like problems and issues arise. It doesn't matter like how much money you have or how successful you are. You're always going to run into snafus and issues and stuff, or, you know, so, but yeah, like as far as like kind of business related stuff, it's definitely easier to like reinvest in yourself and roll one project or business into the next thing and whatnot, for sure. So
yeah, that makes sense. The other thing, God, as soon as I start drinking, my train of thought just like
your process starts. I feel that.
Oh yeah. I'll grab it now. There we go. That was the other thing I was gonna say is that, Jesus, I'm like struggling to grab it right now as it's fleeting away from me, and I just got it again. Yep. Oh yeah. What would you tell someone who's just wondering, like, how do I charge more for these videos? Because going back to that, how to make $100,000 in a year, like when you were breaking down the costs, you're like, okay, well, say you do 16 jobs a month for $500, or it's 8 jobs for $1,000.
Right.
So say someone's at that $500 mark and doing 16 jobs, but they want to bump it to that 1,000 mark.
Right.
Like, what kind of stuff would you tell them to get to that point?
I think part of it is just like a confidence thing, and like just knowing kind of what you're worth and putting that number out there and just trying to get that and believe in that. But I mean, you could always, depending on like the inquiries that you're getting, you can realize like, oh, I could probably get more for this job, and that would slightly allow me to take like less on this other job. Like this other client over here might not pay 1,000, but they might pay 500, but this one will pay 1,500. And so it'll kind of like balance out. So kind of analyzing who your clientele is and the people that are reaching out to you. And if it's someone who's not going to pay 1,000, cool, I'll do this one for 500. But if you realize, oh, this person looks like they have a little more budget, or the way you're talking to them, it sounds like that, then you're just like, oh yeah, I charge, $1,500 to do, video, or $2,000. Like, and you just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it's just kind of like analyzing the emails, the conversations, the who you're talking to, doing your research on the client, and like being like, okay, like I could get this much from them, and not like in a like shady way, just like, obviously there's some people that have more money and are able to pay more for a job that you should be getting paid for anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's what you should,
because oftentimes you're probably taking a lower amount.
Yeah,
than
100%. Like especially when you're starting out and coming up. I mean, shoot, to this day, there's jobs I should be getting paid more for that I'm not at all. Like I'll still do jobs where I don't make a dime off of the physical shoot, but the whole reason I'm doing it or taking it is because I know I can make money on the back end from using the footage, BTS, promo for tropiccolour, prismlensfx, the learn courses, like other things that I'm doing. So I know like, okay, I'm physically not really making money off of doing this job, but I am, because I'll end up making that on the back end in some way. So like looking at those different opportunities and ways of like, how could I use this to make money, even if I'm not really making money off the physical job itself. And I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I got a video coming up with that the budget, like I don't take these size budgets anymore, but I'm doing it because A, the artist of who it is, and 2, like I'm like, oh cool, there's this idea that I've been wanting to do, I would love to try that out. And then also like I'll use one of our studios, that studio needs a little more like content shot in it. So you just find ways to like, how could I use this to benefit me, my businesses, but also like help the artist too, because now you can kind of put a little more money into the budget of the video because I'm using one of my spaces versus paying someone $1,500 to use their space. So it's like, yeah, you just finding creative ways to, oh no, I kind of got off on a tangent there, but
no, you're good. I'm tracking on all of it.
Gotcha.
So I'm sure you've probably ran into this problem when you were in that situation of trying to raise your prices, but like, do you have your regulars, the people that would come to you for like a music video, and so maybe they got in when your videos were $300 and now you're feeling like you need to raise it, and so then you got to tell them, oh, it's 500 now, or it's 700, things like that. Did you ever have to maneuver those waters? The people who already know.
I think early on with like the hardest one was with Futuristic, because I did all of his shit for free, all of his videos, and as a like my takeaway was like it was going on my YouTube channel, and there was a way for me to make money if the video did well on YouTube. Like I made money on the back end, but then it started getting to a point where like I moved to LA. I'm paying all this rent, I'm busy doing other videos, and he's just like, yo, I want to shoot like 4 videos. And it was just like dude, I gotta pay rent. Like I can't just like shoot all this stuff for free. And so it was like tough navigating that waters as a friendship of like, yo, for years now we've done stuff for free, put on my YouTube channel and whatever, but now like my situation has changed. Like I have all these bills, I've got rent, I'm in LA, I'm busy, and like do I have the time to just like shoot you all these videos? And so that was like a hard thing navigating with some of the people that were like closer to me, and it extends more than just futuristic for sure. Who is still an amazing friend and business partner to this day.
So I'm guessing he took it well.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, you just kind of have to have those tough conversations. And it was just like, yo, like, you're not going to pay the full rate that someone else would pay, but like help me a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like give me a little something just to like take the edge off. Like you don't need to pay me $1,000 to make you a video. Like I don't need that, but like, yo, throw me a couple $100 bones just to like, you know what I mean? Help out. Yeah. So, those are the hardest ones when it's dealing with like friends, and especially if you have a long-standing relationship. But yeah, there's always a point where, you start to grow and get to a point. But I always try and as best I can. I mean, shoot, I've done it even to this day with, Sam and David, like people I came up with. Like if David were to hit me up and be like, yo, let's do a video tomorrow, I'd be like, cool, let's go shoot it. I'm not gonna be like, yo, bro, it's $2,500. I need, I'm not gonna do that. So. But there's a point where you start to have to like, yo, I need to raise my price a little bit. There's other things going on. And hopefully they can understand that it's not like personal. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
And hopefully,
that's always tough.
Yeah, hopefully those artists just respect that, that thing. Like, I mean, I feel like everyone should get, like, I got to pay rent.
Right.
But yeah, I've been in similar situations with LA, and I honestly think that that's kind of helped me have that confidence to charge more, because I'm like, all right, I'm not playing around anymore. I can't do your stuff for so cheap, because now I'm paying 2 rents.
But the other like, I guess, like flip of the coin is you never know. You got to take every situation, like, and kind of look at like the pros and cons, because you never know also what that opportunity, or thing could lead to by doing that video for, still that same amount or less or whatever, because of, that relationship and who they
potential.
That potential. Like, I mean, that's what happened with all my videos early on with YouTube, is like I did all of Kyle's stuff for free, all the futuristic stuff for free. But that's what led me to getting the videos with like DY, which then led me to getting the Hoodie Allen, which led me getting Jesse McCartney, which, you know what I mean? And had I never done those videos for free for Kyle and futuristic, they wouldn't have paid me what I wanted to get paid. I would have made no videos. The Buff Nerds wouldn't be what it is. Jakob Owens would probably cease to exist. And so it's like this weird, crazy butterfly effect where, sometimes you just have to swallow your pride and look at like the bigger picture and not get caught up on like the money stuff. But at the same time, you definitely still have to survive and pay bills. So it's always
I don't think you get to where you are without having done your fair share of free work.
Right.
And like I still every now and then do free work, just depending on who it is and what it's for, know. And it's like, obviously I wish I didn't have to, but like there are those potential gains. Dude,
that like I said, I still do it to this day. This artist I recently shot like 2 or 3 videos for, his name's Tavuku. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I butchered it. He recently hit me up on Instagram, and he had like 5K budgets. All of that money went towards like shooting the actual video. Maybe pulled like somewhere between $200 and $400 for myself, but the rest of it was just like literally like, let's shoot at one of our locations. I've never done VFX Fire. Let's do VFX Fire. Like, I don't know if you saw the one at Eclectic West. I didn't make any money off that thing. I just wanted to like shoot at the Eclectic West, try something and do like set the cabin on fire. I've never done anything with like VFX Fire. I was like, this will be a cool opportunity, because the song he talks about like my world is on fire. So I looked at that as an opportunity to like do work, get behind the scenes stuff, shoot at one of my locations, work with a new artist, potentially build a longer standing relationship with him. And then we ended up like doing 2 or 3 other videos, and like who knows where that'll go one day? You know,
Mm-hmm.
who knows who he knows,
Mm-hmm.
who then's like, yo, you got to shoot a guy with this guy, Jakob Owens. He's
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. And so to this day, I still do that stuff. I'm not above that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you gotta, you just gotta,
You got to pick
every
and
once in a while,
choose
every once in a
those.
while, pick and choose those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you think that the location as to like where you live can limit your budget or like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the stuff I was doing in Arizona was all like super. Dude, I remember the first time I got paid $300 for a music video. I was like, I was beyond ecstatic. But like all the bigger budget stuff is the stuff that was paying more, or would have paid more, was out here in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I moved to LA, I got on like a bunch of sets. I started making more money. Granted, I had more costs, but like it was just like, if I didn't move to LA when I did, like, who knows if I'd be where I'm at. Like, so it's like there's certain things you're trying to do within the industry. There's certain places that'll, you know, help you much more than like if I would have never came to LA and stayed in Arizona, I'd be shooting probably local corporate videos for like Mama's Muffins Cafe, like, or like stuff, and I wouldn't be, you know, where I'm at today. So sometimes you just have to take that leap, and it's scary. But no, I remember when I first moved, because I'm very much like a homebody. I don't like to, like, I never liked to stay the night at friends' house when I was growing up. I would always call my mom, come pick me up, like crying, like I just did not like to be away from home.
Yeah.
And so I'd always lived in Arizona, like 2 minutes away from ASU where I went to college. So I was like never more than like 2 to 5 minutes away from home. And then all of a sudden I just graduated and I moved to LA by myself, in a place by myself, didn't have roommates. And like, I was like, I remember sitting on the couch one night being like, dude, what am I doing? Like, is this where I want to be? Like, is this what I want to do? And like, you just have to push through. And it was like scary, but like at the end of the day, like if I wouldn't have done that, there's no way I'm at where I'm at today.
Yeah.
100%. That's how I met Tom and built that business relationship and started shooting all these music videos and editing them, and then ultimately built tropiccolour, which turned into prismlensfx, and like, it's just, it's crazy. So
yeah, I totally relate to that LA thing, because in the homebody, every time I come out here, because it's like a week, a month, that first day is so hard. I feel so like homesick. Yeah. I just question, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have anything booked right now. Why am I here? But
right.
And then the other voice is saying, like, well, this is where it happens. Like, you got to be here to get jobs. You got to do this, that. And it's such a battle, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It really is tough, especially because
all the stuff I went through.
Yeah, you just don't have friends and family up here. Like, you know, I've made new relationships, but they're nothing like the people that I've grown up with for, you know, over a decade, like the friends.
And at a certain point too, you kind of have to weigh what's important to you. Is it more important to like have like a successful career and all this work and do like what you dreamt of, or is it to be like have strong relationships with the people you love and you grew up with and be close to them, and like you have to kind of weigh like what's more important. And so that always falls into place too. But yeah, for me it was just like, power through for the next however many years. You're gonna substantiate yourself, whatever it is you're doing, then you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. And so now that's what I do. Like, move back to Arizona, like, and like I can do or be wherever I want to be, you know what I mean? And so I took those years of like just grinding it out, substantiating myself, building the following companies or whatever it was I was doing, and now it's like, all right, cool. Now I can, if I don't want to live here, I don't have to live here. If I don't want, if I want to do this, I can go do this. If I want to go dip to Hawaii for 2 weeks to chill with family, I can do that. Like, it's just, So that was always kind of my mindset starting out. So Travis over there in the next room.
Roommates playing Call of Duty.
I have to join him. Show him what's good.
Yeah. God, he's killing me.
Shut up, Travis.
That's okay. So, like, now that I'm moving back to Reno full time, the last 2 months, it's been weighing heavily on my brain as to whether or not like I am making like or if I've just made a dumb mistake by doing what I'm doing by only being here a week, because I constantly felt in my head that like I wasn't going to be here enough to make those long lasting relationships where people like I'm their guy, they'll hit me up, things like that. And also like they're not going to hit me up for work on the regular because, I might be in Reno. And so I was like, I just don't know if I'm here long enough to make this worth it. And every time like I would tell someone about like my situation, like at least 50% of them would just be like blown away that I'm like wasting all this money. And I don't feel like it was a waste, but like I just like, what do you think? Do you think if someone out there watching was thinking of splitting their time between like a state nearby and coming, I think, would you say all in? Or
this is my take on it. Is it says this in the Bible, as well as like just like you can't be lukewarm. Like you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to fully commit one way or the other. And and for me, like I was just saying, like I fully committed to LA for 8 years, killed it. Now do whatever I want. You know what I mean? And
you lived here for 8 years before you moved back?
Yeah, because 2013 is when I moved here. So 8 years would put it at what, 21? Is that 21? And so 7 years, because I moved I would officially moved back in like 2020 back to AZ,
Gotcha.
And then just sold the house here and opening the new studio or whatever. But last year, 2020 is like when I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's live primarily in Arizona. When work's out here, I'll come out here, And so, for 7 years, I was all in here. Like, obviously, I still went back and forth because there was family and friends there, and I'd go back for holidays or go back for a couple of days or, whatever it was. But primarily, I was here working. You can't, if there's one thing you want to, like, think about it like with even like an NBA player. If they had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they were like kind of showing up to practice, but not, because they also wanted to be like a realtor. Like the team would cut them. Like the team would be like, yo, bro, like you're not committed to this team. Peace. Like you're cut, and you wouldn't be on an NBA roster anymore. So like if you're gonna do it, and go hard at it for, a couple years or whatever it is. And if you start to like nothing is just ever clicking, and then you make that decision of like, all right, you know what? This didn't work out. I at least tried like 1,000%. Cool. I'm going back to this. But to be this kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I don't think you'll ever see that total success. Or if you're halfway in, halfway out, lukewarm on whatever it is you're doing. Think about it like working out. If you like work out like 3 days a week, but the other 3 or 4 you're like, no, I'm cool. Like you're not gonna be a champion bodybuilder doing that. You know what I mean? So I think it literally applies to anything that you want to do or be good at. If you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you just can't make it to that higher, I guess, echelon, if you will. You know what I mean?
I would say, like, because I totally agree, like, because that's kind of the conclusion I was coming to, is that like if I'm not going to be here full time, it's not going to work.
Right.
And like I've been here almost a year now, and like I've had really cool experiences, and I've met really cool people, and I've gotten to do some awesome things. But like in terms of it being LA, and I don't know where COVID starts, and like me not being here very long each month, ends. Like it just like it hasn't paid my bills here fully. But I would say that like the benefits of me doing this is that like I got to see LA, so I got to kind of feel it out. Like, is this someplace I can see myself living?
Right.
And my
probably no.
Yeah, my overwhelming conclusion was just like, man, this place is wild. Like it's really cool.
It's just not for everyone, bro.
Yeah, like I just kind of thought in my head, it's just like my friends and family aren't here, so it just doesn't feel like home.
That's why Arizona has always been home to me. That's why I moved back. Like, I will never live here permanently, ever, period.
And it's just so wild. And then COVID didn't make it any better with, the governor and all this stuff. I was just like, this place is horrible.
No, every time I drive around this place, I'm like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this place sucks.
I know.
So I'm with you on that.
The best thing about how bad this place sucks is going back home to tell the people how bad it sucks. Because like, no way. Like, I mean, we knew California was something, but, like you don't know LA until you see.
It's only getting worse too.
Yeah, and
it's crazy.
Like, on top of that, I think because Dan had messaged me because he had heard that I was thinking of moving out, and I was immediately stressed when I saw that message because I was like, "Fuck!" Now I got to figure it out.
Right
now, like someone's asking, and so I was stressed for the day. And when I went to sleep, I had this dream that, like, I figured out my decision, and I was so confident that I was like, "Yep, I got to give up my room for him." And in my dream, like I just determined the two things that I want most right now with my career is I want to grow my YouTube and I want to keep learning new things. So like motion design and VFX and all that can be done stuff
from wherever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I was like, so right now at this very moment, and especially during COVID, I shouldn't be doing this. So I should, pack my bags and
makes sense.
Yeah. So luckily it all worked out, and everything happens for a reason, it seems. Yeah. So.
No, that's what like that's not there's not a more like true statement in life. Everything happens for a reason. Cause like, and that's what, anytime something looks like for me that it's bad or it's going wrong, I just look at, all right, what's the positive in this? Because like, I'm telling you, there's no need to get so stressed out, angry, bent out of shape, whatever it is about a situation. Like the first, I think like, I mean with anything, but like a first thing that pops out up to my mind is barracks. The first barracks spot we had, we were having all these issues with the landlord, and he was like, you guys have to be out in a month. And I remember Tom and me were like, fuck, like, dude, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like, it had just like been cracking. It started to crack and do so well. And it was just like, in the grand scheme of things, we found a better spot that was more affordable, that offered more of what we wanted to do and grow into. And it was like, yo, that was an absolute blessing that happened.
The new spot's way cooler.
Yeah, and so it's like there's always like a silver lining and a blessing in disguise. Same thing with like the issues with the neighbors and the house I was living at and selling it. Like all of that happened. It was like, yo, this sucks. But then it was like, yo, I'm about to make $100,000 on the sale of this house. We're gonna open this in a studio that's gonna allow us to take longer bookings, more hours, no issues with neighbors, like build more sets, like, and it's like, oh, this is actually way better. There's always a silver lining to anything. You just have to be open to seeing it and not being so caught up in the, oh, this is the worst thing ever, this sucks, like this. You can't be negative. You got to see the positive and just be able to move forward. And because I'm telling you, there's always like anything that has ever happened in my life that has seemed so negative, there's always a positive side to it. You just have to be open to seeing that positive side for sure. So yeah, like COVID, I always say this was like the best thing that ever happened to me or to us, because like we were right in the middle of like buying this house here in LA that was going to be like, it's a very nice house, super expensive, but it would have definitely like like if we would have bought that house, we would have primarily like been living in LA. And then like right in the middle of like buying that, our offer was accepted. We were doing the inspections. COVID happened, everything was shutting down, bookings across all our locations were canceling. Obviously people were canceling shoots and like, and then it was just like, okay, now we buy this house, like stores are closed. We can't even go buy furniture. Like we're going to, like, what are we going to be doing? What are we going to do with all this furniture that we have that obviously is not the right style or fit for this new house? And it was just like, we backed out of the deal and went back to Arizona to kind of like regroup and just go back to AZ, which was a lot like calmer. And then we just basically like, okay, we made the decision, like, let's take all the money that we're going to spend buying this house in LA and just renovate the house to exactly what we wanted to, the house to look like. And so we spent all of that money of what we were going to buy that house in LA to do and renovated our house from the ground up in AZ. And then like a week into doing that, maybe a week to 2 weeks, the house next door went up for sale. And it was like, literally walked out my front door and I saw a for sale sign go in the front. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, my brother has been talking about like moving to Arizona back from Hawaii potentially. And I was like, how crazy would that be if my brother and his family live next door? So I hit up Derek and I was just like, yo, the house next door went up for sale. Like, do you want it? Like, I'll help you, get it. And I'll help you buy it. And then he was just like, yeah. So
crazy.
We bought that house. And so then we bought the house next door. But none of that would have happened if COVID didn't happen.
Yeah.
We would have ended up 1,000% buying that house in LA. We wouldn't have gone home, renovated our house / bought the house next door for my brother, and my brother wouldn't have moved in. Like, just none of that would have happened, let alone then all the other like positives out of like the business stuff that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like I always say like as much as like just COVID was so beneficial, and like I'm so I'm not thankful in the terms of like obviously the people that have been severely affected or hurt by it, but like for us like it's just like there's always a silver lining to everything. Like, yes, it sucks and a lot of people suffered from it, but like and in the moment we thought like, yo, this is awful, like all these things are being canceled, none of this work is coming in. But like then you look at the other, you kind of start to analyze and see the other opportunities or things or benefits that are coming from it, and it's like, oh wow. So there's always a silver lining to every negative or bad situation that's happening or occurring. 100%.
That day that like shit hit the fan with COVID, so because Trump had did the travel ban with Europe, and then I think it was the next day or I think it was that night, because 2 days from then, my wife and I were supposed to go to Japan, and we're like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
And everyone is calling us, telling us like, oh, you guys should not go. Yeah. Don't go. And we're just like, it's Europe, not like I mean, right. I'm surprised they didn't say Asia instead of, or China.
Europe,
just something. And so I'm stressed, because then it like at that moment things just started ramping up hard. Like everyone's canceling everything. Yeah. And so
it's crazy.
Yeah, that next day I spent I think 6 hours on the phone just with customer service people trying to cancel everything. It was, and then that was actually the same day that I signed the lease for this place.
Gosh,
and I was just like, what is happening with life right now? And then I couldn't even come to this place until June, because I was trying to buy a car to get down here, but then I couldn't get it registered when I bought it because the DMV was closed. But I mean, all that stuff was just a nightmare. But that silver lining of I got to be home with my wife, who's a teacher, so she was home the entire time too, and getting paid, which is awesome. And learn VFX, and it's just like you just gotta like appreciate the even if you feel like it's like this much good, like and 100%. That's set me on a different trajectory now. So it's just like I'm happy where I'm at. Right. And I honestly wouldn't change anything,
No, same. 100%. There's nothing I'm like I wish 100%. So that's dope. Yeah, there's always a good with the bad, there's always a good. With the good, there's always a bad. Every single time. It's just it's all how you look at it and move forward from it. 'Cause with every good situation, there's probably a negative or bad that comes with that, and vice versa. So you just got to have that positive mindset, but also look at like, okay, how could I use this to my advantage, or like make this work for me right now? Yeah. So
on a different note, I was curious if you could work with one artist for a music video, who would it be?
No question, Eminem.
Yeah.
No question.
Yep.
Second on the list would be Childish Gambino.
Oh, yeah.
And then third on the list, he's not really an artist anymore, but just someone in general would probably be Will Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Like that would be.
That's funny. I was going to ask you top three, but I wasn't sure if you were going to have three ready.
Artist-wise, Eminem, Gambino, no question. And then just like person in general would probably just be Will Smith.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air religiously. and he's just all his movies, and
That's funny. Mine are pretty similar because one is Eminem.
Yeah.
I think the second one would be Jaden Smith.
Okay.
And then the third would be like A$AP Rocky.
Okay.
But yeah, Gambino though, like This Is America. I mean,
well, I was on Gambino before a lot of people were, like on his like super early mixtapes. I watched Community.
Yeah, I was more on him with Community.
And so before like even gosh, I forget, he had these skits on YouTube that were like Derek Comedy is what they called themselves. And like I was watching those before.
Never seen them.
Yeah, it's called Derek Comedy.
Pretty
he
good.
looks super young. There's this one about like gay butt sex or something. I don't know. It's really funny. Like it's just like, but that's what led him into doing like the Community stuff, was like those comedy sketches and stuff. And so like I was very aware of that. And I remember seeing him on Community and being like, oh, this is that guy from Derek Comedy. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then he like started rapping and like
when he was Childish Gambino, I was like, this is the guy from Community.
Yeah.
Like this is so weird.
So like that's why like just like I've seen him and his growth and his whole career, and I really like his music and who he is as an artist. And Eminem is just the OG, like and then Will Smith,
absolutely.
Same thing. Grew up watching him, and he's that would be the top three of just people if I could do projects or
good top
content for.
Cool. With Childish Gambino, have you watched his Atlanta show?
I watched the first season, and then
I think the second season was pretty wild. I think it was in the second season that on each episode, it's like they focused on one character and told a story with them.
That character.
It got wild, but I'm not sure if you saw his tweet. It was earlier. I think it was in 2020, like late 2020. He said something like how he's going to come out with a new album next season of Atlanta, like all this stuff. And I was like, please, we are dying for it. Like it's been so long.
It's been a while since you really heard, done or seen, heard anything really from him.
He's someone who everything he touches is just pure gold, and it's just he's so good at everything he does. And same with like Jordan Peele. I mean,
Jordan Peele's
one of my all-time favorite directors, and then you watch him in Key and Peele and you're just like, God, dude, like this guy can do it all. He can do it all.
Dude, those sketches are the best.
I know.
One of my favorite ones, and it's not even, I don't even know if it's the funniest one, but for whatever reason I just remember it. The Liam Neeson's. He says like Liam Neeson's. They're like Liam Neeson's dog. Liam Neeson. They're like outside the motel or the hotel, like, oh, it's so good.
That's how I felt when you said Childish Gambino. Like, This Is America. That's good. I remember when I stayed at your house, we watched Key and Peele for a while. You were editing. Will was there, and we were just watching Key and Peele for a while. And the one of my favorite sketches was on the one where he's supposed to have his seatbelt on the airplane, and he goes to use the bathroom, and he's like flying up, hitting the seat.
I don't even remember that one. No. That was a Key and Peele one?
Yeah. Will was saying that like the way that they did that is like having like a, like a airplane body like on a hydraulic thing. And then, wires or cables or whatever. But that's funny. That one is just so great. But
he's a legend for that, just everything he did, and then the transition into just like the horror master ever. Like it's like crazy.
I mean, he's got to be one of the only like directors who's come out with, I mean, I think he's got 2 horror movies that he directed, The Get Out and Us, and then I think he produced Antebellum. But like Get Out and Us are like top notch, and I think it's really rare when horror movies get ranked well with the critics,
right?
And there's just so much symbolism.
What he's doing is like smart horror. It's not like dumb thrasher horror. It's like literally just like the cross between thriller and horror, and just being very smart with it. And it's just well written, well done, well shot, just all across the board, just good. And just mixing in, he does a good job of mixing in his humor with the horror as well. Like even in Get Out, like his friend, the TSA character, who's just like,
who ends up being the hero.
Yeah, who ends up like being the hero, and then like even in like one of the most serious moments in the movie, he's just like looking at him in the car. He's like, I told you not to fucking go in that fucking house. Like it's just like always still implementing that humor into things, and so good.
Monster, man.
Yeah.
Have you watched like that YouTube video of him like going through all the, like the symbolism? It's like a 9-minute video.
No.
It's
and
crazy.
What, Get Out?
Yeah, Get Out.
No.
Well, he kind of goes through like fan theories. A lot of them are true, but it's funny because some of the fan theories seem like they would be true, and he's like, "No, that was just by chance. Like, I guess I got lucky."
That makes sense.
Yeah,
because you could take anything and try and make it a thing, and it would make sense. It's like, oh wow, that makes sense, but like it's like no, I mean. Yeah, it makes sense, but that just was random, or no, that wasn't planned.
Like in when the main character is strapped down to that seat and he's like picking the cotton out and sticking in his ear, picking cotton. And
that
then,
was just lucky.
Yeah.
He
meant to do that.
Oh, okay.
He meant to do that one. One he didn't mean to do was when the so after the girl that he's with, like, has already come out as the bad guy, right, and he's locked up in the basement. She's up in her room looking at like her next victims,
sipping on the milk and the cereal.
The colors are separate from the whites. Like that.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, she's got her Fruit Loops and then her milk. And
gotcha.
I guess that one wasn't intentional. He was just more like, it's because she is just weird.
Yeah,
but
but people look into it as like,
I mean, I would believe it.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy when you when you look at all that stuff. I couldn't even imagine just being on set for something like that, like just working on a production. I mean, and it's just so powerful. I mean, that's a movie that I'll constantly rent. I should just buy it now because I've already rented it 3 times just to show people who haven't watched it.
To watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
No, I really like that one.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I liked better.
Get Out or Us? Us was pretty good too.
Because it's always easy to be like, oh, Get Out was the first one. And so it's like, oh, yeah, that one's my favorite. But like, Us was very, very interesting and creative and well done as well across the board.
Super disturbing.
Exactly.
I mean, just those last shots of the people
like,
stretching across the globe.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at big picture, like Us, but I think people love to look at the Get Out as like, oh, that was his first one. He came out the gate. But if you were to like, I don't know. They're both amazing and great in their own right. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
questions?
Yeah, close it out. Get into the fan questions. Pull them up. All right. So the first question is like, what are some tips for risk taking?
You just jump. You jump out. You walk up to the edge of the cliff and you just jump and you do it. Because if you analyze things too much, you'll paralyze yourself with like fear and like, oh, what if this went wrong, and what if this happened, and what if this happened? You just have to do it and then figure it out as you go. Like with anything, like even with this new studio that we're building with Honeymoon, it's like we went in renting the spot, we're gonna build it from the ground up. Like it's gonna take a lot of time, money, energy, but it's like if you just sit there and try to like, oh, every little thing that could go wrong, or what if we can't do this and this, like you're just gonna paralyze yourself and ultimately not take that chance and risk that it could be extremely beneficial. Like the one of the biggest things, I think, Eclectic West, by far, bar none. After Honeymoon like did pretty well, or was like starting to like book and stuff, I was like, oh, I've always wanted like a desert film property where I could do like all this cool stuff. And I was like, is anyone even gonna come out here to shoot? This is an hour and a half outside LA. Is it even dope enough? Is it cool? Am I going to be able to build enough stuff where people are like, is this the most retarded thing? Am I really? Because I bought the place cash, like sight on scene, like cash, like, and I was just like, this could be the dumbest thing I've ever done. But like, you don't know unless you don't try, and like did it and like put some work into it. And I had to, put put myself out there and risk that. But it was like, I look back and I'm like, that was one of the smartest things I've ever done. Like, I'm so thankful I did that. But had I just
killer.
Yeah. Had I just like been like really sitting there like, oh no, I don't want to do, I don't want to take that risk. Nope. Like, like that wouldn't have led into all the other things I'm doing on top of it being successful, but it wouldn't have led into the barracks, which wouldn't have led into this with that and that. And so, you just got to go for it. Just
so
jump,
have you had those risks that you decided to take that ended up blowing up in your face then?
I don't think so. And like, I mean, first one was moving to LA. It's like, that's a huge risk. Moving out by myself, never lived out of the state, never lived far from home, never lived by myself, like trying to go make this video thing happen full time as a career. That was the first one. Cool. Worked out. Like, you just got to find ways to make it work out. And then same thing with like every other thing after that. prismlensfx. It's like, are people even going to buy this shit? Like, spending all this money to like buy a warehouse, buy the equipment to build the prisms, to do that, like to build a website. Like, are people even going to buy this shit? But like, had we never done, like, bro, I couldn't imagine if prismlensfx wasn't a thing right now. And like, but we took that risk, figured it out as we went. Cool, good, successful, doing well. On to the next thing. Like, so you just have to dive head first and not be scared. I mean, well, you're always going to be scared, but you can't let that fear paralyze you from not moving forward.
Because then you make no action at all.
Yeah, and then you just constantly are in the state of never progressing anywhere or challenging yourself. You have to challenge yourself to grow. If you don't challenge yourself to grow, you'll never go anywhere. That's just facts.
Dope. My old coworker and friend Keston, he said, "Whose beard is better, lol?" Because that photo that I posted.
Oh well, now we both don't have beards,
I know.
Right? So
it's like, so whose shaved face is no? It's funny because that was actually the longest I had ever had my beard was when I stayed at your place.
Really?
Yeah.
How long?
Well, so I mean, it was probably like this long. I'm not sure how long I grew it, but like my beard. And like, if I had to answer that question, I'd say your beard is better because mine grows like this instead of
down.
This. Yeah. And so it's like on this end, it's like it flares out. It's growing weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And yours seems like it grows like a normal path.
It grows down. Yeah.
Like Gandalf the Red.
But yeah, 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and just shaved it off. So it's crazy.
When you started doing that, like, did you like have like a
No, it felt good.
Of, like,
no, it felt good. I was like, all right. No, it felt good. It'd been a long time. It was like, at the same time, it's only hair. I could grow it back. So it's not like a permanent thing.
Exactly. I've been shaving my face more just because I wanted to like take my identity back because people kind of see you as the beard. As soon as the beard's gone, like, dude, where's the beard? Oh, you need the beard back. It's like, you need to get used to me without it.
Right.
You know?
Even 100%. I did a poll on my story and everyone was like, I think like 75% were like, grow it back. Like, that's your brand, bro. Like, that's your identity. It's like, all right. But we'll see what happens.
No, if you got like fat and not buff, I would say that was your brand.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. What are the top 5 pivotal moments in your career? And if you don't want to do 5, 3 or...
First one's moving to LA. No. All right. Before that, first one is starting to shoot music videos when Futuristic asked me, like, yo, you go to film school, you want to shoot a music video?
Wow.
I wasn't getting paid. It's not like, hey, bro, I got this money, let's do it. Like, it was just like, So agreeing to do that, because ultimately that was the catalyst for what would become buffnerds, Jakob Owens, music videos, everything I was doing. Moving to LA. Getting the Jesse McCartney video, or meeting Tom, getting the Jesse McCartney video, and then realizing, like, once I like built the foundation for myself, like, all right, I'm gonna start building some other businesses, and starting with tropiccolour, which ultimately led into like starting, multiple businesses, doing everything else. Is like, okay, I'm gonna start building multiple things. So probably those 5 things. Yeah,
I'm impressed you came up with 5 things that fast, but I mean, you have a million accomplishments.
Right.
So,
well, it's also easy to know and remember the things that like catapulted me to that next phase.
Yeah,
and those
just
for
those
sure
milestones that just they send you on this path.
Right.
This one kind of goes with the first question, but they said, has he ever doubted himself whenever it comes to the opening a new studio or business?
100%. Yeah. Everyone doubts themselves. Like, I don't care who you are, you doubt yourself. Like, you're a human being. Like, you have doubts. And the very first, when I bought Honeymoon, it was just like, yo, is this the dumbest thing? Like, well, we knew we wanted to buy a house to live in, but we were buying that specific house
because it looked old.
Like, yo, we're gonna furnish it to look like a vintage house. We're gonna turn it into like this vintage film studio. But we spent all this time and money. I mean, that furniture, mid-century modern furniture, is not cheap. And so it's like that first month, 2 months of like moving in, hunting down all the furniture, buying it. It was just like, yo, is this gonna work? Like, is this the dumbest thing we've ever done? Like, should we be focusing our energy on something else? And so, yeah, I mean, even with the very first one, it's like doubted ourselves, you know, like it's natural to have like, oh, what if this doesn't work? Like, but you know, but it worked. And then even then, like, catapulting that into Eclectic West, like, we had success with Honeymoon right away, and that's what led me to like even wanting to do Eclectic. And then once it came down to signing that dotted line for Eclectic, it was like, is this the right move? Like, should I be buying a property in the middle of the desert an hour and a half away from LA? Like, or is there a better way to spend my money? And so, yeah, I think with any new big opportunity, challenge, risk, there's always going to be that little bit of doubt, like, yeah, I don't know about this.
So
like,
now that you're seeing that success, do you think you'll continue to have those waves
100%,
of doubt?
100%. I don't care how successful you are on one thing, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful in the next thing. Like,
and when you're throwing that much money at around, it's risky, 100%. Scary.
So I don't think you'll ever, I mean, I'm sure I could speak for plenty of directors, entrepreneurs, whoever else out there, when they're starting something new, there's always going to be that inkling of doubt, like, yo, I'm about to spend all my time, energy, and money into this new thing. What if it doesn't work? Is there something else better I could be doing with my time or money? Like, I don't care who you are. There's going to be those inklings of doubt. Yeah. In my opinion, but maybe other people think differently, but that's what I think. So
the last question, which I think you're the perfect person to answer, is like, any advice on finding a team? And then they said, thank you for your work, and I love the beard.
Well, the beard's gone. So
sorry to disappoint.
I think you'll kind of identify it once it happens. Like, when I first moved to LA, you know, you kind of do jobs here and there, but like the first time I met Tom, and he was just like, yo, like, I want to do more videos, DP, like, we hit it off, and it was just like, connected with him, and it was just like, yo, yeah, I got a video next week, and then we worked so well on that one. It's like, and then you start to build that relationship, and that, like, yo, like, you want to shoot all my shit, like, and it was just like, you know, don't ever force it. Like, if it feels like you're having to force something, it's probably not the right move. Like, if it feels natural and it just flows, that's it. Run with that. Find that thing. But it just happens with over time. You know, there's still people to this day that I'll meet on a project or a thing where it just feels right. You kind of naturally build that relationship, and you go with it. You know, with Travis, like, I met him, I was doing a video, and the artist brought him on to do BTS for him, and Travis was just like, yo, like, yeah, if you ever need BTS for videos and blah, blah, blah. And like, I just liked him. He worked hard. We got along. And then like, he did stuff on another video, and then it led to another video. It's just like, yo, you're the homie, like, blah, blah. And then you kind of run with that. Like, and then you find those people and just run with that. But like, if you're ever feeling like you're having to force something, it's definitely not the right move. So just looking for those natural flowing relationships and work, you know, whether it's personal or working, and then running with those. So for sure. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good advice. And you definitely seem like you've built up a very strong team around you. And Travis, I mean, like just someone that you met as like a BTS shooter, and now he's gone in with you on these locations. Properties, like that's awesome. Super cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for, sitting down, talking, sharing the knowledge with me and all the people watching. Really appreciate it.
No.
If you guys aren't already subscribed, Buff Nerds. Is it Buff Nerds Media or Buff Nerds?
On what?
On
Instagram?
YouTube.
YouTube is just the Buff Nerds. Instagram, it's Buff Nerds Media.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then
Jakob Owens with a K. So with a K.
And then there's like 100 businesses you could follow.
Yeah, there's like a prismlensfx, tropiccolour, Barracks, Bubblegum, Eclectic, Honeymoon, all that good stuff. So
yeah. Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Dude, thank you. Appreciate it. Peace, y'all.